Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are back on the Updates Direct Hit dev server, and it's time to have a look at the Parizhskaya Kommuna, or the Paris Commune, or the Sevastopol, depending on what language you want to use, and also depending on what time period you're looking at. This is a 1900s battleship which has a Second World War refit. It was actually used during the First World War and also the Second World War, under different names, because it started off life as the Sevastopol. It was the lead ship of her class, the Sevastopol class, and then once the Soviet Union took over after the revolution, it became the Parizhskaya Kommuna, which is the Paris Commune. So basically after that area, what happened a while ago. So why is this thing special when it comes to the game? The main reason why it's special is because it has access to something that no other battleship has access to, and that is a secondary armament that is actually good at killing planes. And the reason why this is special is because one of the ways of dealing with battleships is through the use of large bombs, or through the use of trying to get damage using torpedoes, and battleships generally are not too good against aircraft. But once you finally give them AA, and once you finally get them to a point where they have significant AA, because a lot of World War II battleships had a ton of AA on them, especially by the end of the war, then what you're going to have is a very, very destructible machine that is going to actually be hard to kill. So the AA that is present on this thing is 16 37mm. A lot of them you can actually find on top of the main guns, the main batteries. You can see 3 here, 3 here, here, and also here, meaning that 12 of them out of the 16 are on top. This thing also has 12 12.7mm Dishkas on it as well. It has 6 76mm 34K mounts as well, which you can find here and also here. Then the main guns are 4 triple mounted 12-inch guns from 1907, and then it also has 16 of the 120mm guns in little areas on here, right along the sides of the machine. So this has access to a ton of different weapons. It has access to a decent amount of armor, 225 overall, with 125 sat here. The Citadel armor of 50 is not the best, but it does have armor on the turrets up to 250, and also near the bridge you're looking at 250 once again. The actual ammunition of the machines is covered by a decent set of armor, and also the waterline as well. This thing does sit quite low in the water, just like a lot of the other Soviet machines that were around at this time or earlier for the Russian Federation. When it comes to what the vehicle has, it is made up of fuel tanks all along the center, which gives a defensive barrier to the massive sets of ammo storage that this thing has under the main caliber guns, and also the engines. The engines are actually quite small compared to the size of the machine. It only has, or the displacement of the machine is 26,900 tons, and it also has the transmissions set back here in some pretty large amounts. 2 huge smoke funnels on the machine, so you can kind of categorize it by them, and also it doesn't really have any exposed ammo anywhere, so it's going to be quite hard to go after it since it's below the waterline, and also it is quite low on the machine itself with a ton of different coverage. There isn't any coal bunkers though on this machine, so it'll be a little bit easier to penetrate it, I suppose, compared to others, and hopefully that means that you'll get to these ammo racks and watch the thing pop pretty aggressively. Because it is a World War II-esque machine, it does actually have a fire director for the main guns, the 12 inches, and also the 120s. Has a measure accuracy of 100% and the same timings as the other machine that we have in the game, the Pittsburgh. A lot of these machines from World War II will have these fire directors, and they should work pretty well. It also has some of the 37s mounted up here in these little blisters, which I think is pretty cool. Doesn't seem to have access to a radar, so just the fire directors, which are all over the place on this thing, so you won't be able to just knock one out and it will be done. When it comes to the modifications on this, it doesn't have any torpedoes, but it does have 54 turrets overall. The 76.2mm also have access to HETF, so they're going to be pretty good at taking out aircraft and also smaller machines. The 120mm have access to HE, and also, as an upgrade, the SAP, which does pen a decent amount and should be able to penetrate up to stuff like light and heavy cruisers, depending on where you shoot them. The 305mm, or the main caliber guns, have access to HE, APC-BC with really good pen and explosive mass, and then also a SAP shell, an SAPC-BC with 55.2 kilos of explosive mass and pretty good penetration as well. So this thing is going to be a tough nut to crack, and it's going to be able to dish out the damage very much similar to a lot of other battleships that we have in the game. I feel like now the improved rangefinder is going to have much more of a play for vehicles like this, where before probably not so much. And hopefully it means that modification will be a little bit more useful, because at least for me it hasn't been that useful in the past. So when we look at this machine, what we see is the setup into the new age for it. For some reason I can't test drive it, which is always fun, and my game has just broken. One of the problems I've been having with this dev server is it just breaks all the time. I don't know why, but my left click breaks a lot of the time. My right click is now broken. I don't know why this is happening. But hopefully... Oh, right click's back. God damn it. But yeah, this machine in general, and it's broken again. This machine in general will be very good at the top ranks. It'll be interesting to see how it will work compared to other machines that it faces. Obviously, it has the firepower. The reload is long, but with the rangefinders, it should be accurate. The 37s actually have really good coverage on them. I thought they may only have a small coverage on them because they're kind of stuck to the turrets, but as you can see, they have a horizontal guidance of 180 degrees and a vertical guidance of 85, so they'll be able to pretty much shoot anything that they need to. And hopefully this is the next stage. Hopefully this means that vehicles such as the battleships will get a new era of them, which will have some AA armaments and maybe more modern designs, and then they can finally start going up in BR. We can have a little bit of BR decompression when it comes to these machines, since stuff like the Parizhskaya Kommuna and also some of its friends in the tech tree like the Maria and the Poltava are just decimating a lot of the 5.7s around the place. The Hyuga is also a very good machine which does a ton of damage, and so are many of the other battle cruisers and battleships that we have in the game. With more additions like the Kommuna, it means that we will get more machines which will be able to fight each other and hopefully expand the BR brackets a little bit. I'm very interested to see how this thing does, since it attempts to counter one of the biggest counters to battleships, and if it's successful, then it could actually show us later on what even bigger and better battleships will look like, which may come, such as the Tirpitz, the Bismarck, and all of those other great machines, even the King George class of battleships, even stuff like, of course, the Iowa that many people talk about, and the mighty Yamato. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank BRFC, Swollen Ostrich, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Lafouche, Barine, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.